when you've spent 22 years actually, basically ethically hustling, always for potential mutual benefit, and everybody is a Teletubby, literally everybody. I'd love one or two to prove not. What matters? Well, if you're brought up properly in the countryside by wonderful old working class yokels who I ran away with, all that matters is the information. It's not a bimbo term. It's not a sexist term, bimbo. It was originally invented for men, actually. But the information. I mean, one of the worst bimbo bullshit, bloody useless things that you hear from people is Aldi and Lidl are wonderful. Now, I am the most together person in the world to actually do things in society, especially try and get stories out, useful ones. All you ever have is just time wasters who charm and bullshit. Anyway, yeah, I have got my act together. So my act has been the same for 22 years. Anyway, having moved, or rather been stranded with a broken engine, no, one small component of my engine broken by Knighton, August 2022? Yeah, unbelievable. July 2022. After somebody I worked for was as usual, thief. Most of your Glastonbury and kind of, they're all on Facebook all of the time, getting all these new words like gaslight, etc., whilst they're sitting watching breakfast television and boozing themselves to death at night. And so they can't look after their own land. So I happily look after their land. But then they do you on your wages. They always find a reason. Anyway, irrelevant. Best thing that happened, actually. Best thing that ever happened. Not having any wages from a certain person up in the hills behind Knighton, who I'd even paid for her groceries. I have a record of this. She couldn't do me for slander or libel because I've got it in my WhatsApp store. Yeah. Do you want me to pick up something from the shop for you? I happen to be in town, 25 kilometres away from her base. Yeah, and anyway, that doesn't even get paid back, despite about 750 grand of equity. They're all fucking thieves. This whole class, Southwest is entirely full of them, who pretend they're the new Joan of Arc, but they made their money in cities or whatever. Anyway, to the point. Yeah. Oh, God, I never used to go to Aldi Lidl, but yeah, started to go to Aldi Lidl. Now, as a backup, if you're enjoyably busy and haven't got the time to go to the supermarket, yeah, I always used to buy these rye breads. I really like it. In a sealed plastic. So, I knew a few days ago, I'm going to be really busy. I'm just trying to communicate a few things. I'm not going to pick up any bread. And I put my hand in my little food shelf yesterday to get these out. And there we go. Now, that's only 6 weeks old. I'm so together I can remember exactly when I bought everything, which of course intimidates all these total fuck-ups. All you ever meet is total fuck-ups. That's what their Eckhart Tolle did for them, etc., etc. It's all about my feelings. I've got some stuff to put up on this. Good for me. And everything I'm doing is just first very rough draft, but I'm going to turn it into proper stuff over the next few years. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, all I care about is the information. So if you say to people, as I do, nicely, because you can't say anything to anybody in this fucking country, it's just gone bonkers. Oh, the food at Aldi Lidl is not really food, which it isn't. It is so revolting. Okay, where the main brands, I could give examples, Prince's tuna is okay, but they have a slightly cheaper version that is just revolting. It's like 90% oil. But here is proof that the food from Aldi Lidl is just so shabby. And actually, I don't actually like to say this because generally speaking, no, more than generally speaking, 95% of Germans I meet, lots of them, are truly wonderful. My favourite people, and I'm very fussy about people, my favourite people on the planet. I've met them travelling, working abroad, many times over 40 years, and got to know them well. So there's a little bit of an incongruity there. I don't know. Did Aldi and Lidl... Oh, I don't want to go into it. But anyway, all I care about is the information. If you're living in the bottom third or trying to do things in society, then you've got to have accurate information. I got some accurate information from a van woman about some great Atchin tans. This one is just very temporary. But the information about Aldi Lidl is that they're such a fucking con job that... Now, I would actually eat that if I were really, really desperate, but that the plastic wrapping... I mean, these are meant to be properly airtight and sealed. I've had rye bread in plastic that's lasted 3 years because I've kept it in store. It's not the most enjoyable thing to eat in the world, but when you've run out, okay, I got some rye bread in the store. No, not Aldi and Lidl rye bread. It's such a con. They're a con. They're just... And the magnificent RFK Jr. rightly said that 76% of American calories come from con food. It's not really even food. But interestingly, I think it's either 62 or 64% of British calories. It's nothing like this in Europe. You need to know people. All those twats I knew for years, the men going on to their internet. Oh, this is what Europe is. This is what Europe is. I've read that that's what they are. Now, got to live in Europe? Europe wouldn't allow... Oh, okay, Aldi Lidl are probably encroaching on France a bit. Blah, blah, blah. But most people would be just simply... I mean, I'm not disgusted at the mould. Disgust is an absurd thing. If you live off-grid, on the edge, and a tremendous amount of your time and energy is put into useful other things, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But... it's a rip-off. You're getting ripped off. These are actually, they cost they cost like about 30% than the equivalent mass of bread, if that's what actually Aldi sell, which I know they don't. They sell something that's just out of some... Anyway, stop going on. Right, but the most important thing of all is having your act together such that always, always, always backed up. Now, I back up. But I got to put something... I mean, why? These child men who took over everything, they are child men. To sell a product... And actually, funnily enough, I bought this at Lidl in Hellstoned. They were on offer, 100 gigabytes. But why have such a pathetic little... I'm going to have to spend 10 hours putting something onto that such that I can put a piece of string in it or something so I don't lose it, because that's my backup of my terrible little videos, which I guarantee in a year, not that I will carry on making videos unless I have a co-compañera, co-seditious, bright-eyed equal, and I've met two, both involved in the third sector, although one was and has given up, run away crying. No, without a kind of... And they all agree everybody's gone mad. Well, don't be Russell Brand and sit there saying, my awakened wonders, which is all a lie to make Russell Brand and company, and his pathetic wife, what's she do? I can't remember. She does occasionally, is there doing something homespun because they don't have to worry about Well, they've got time to do homespun light footprint things. Yeah, you got to have time for that. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's all rubbish, I'm afraid. I loved it. The notion that grassroots, community, positive energy may positively change things, as that message was being rolled out 17, 18 years ago. I know exactly when it started. Yeah, excuse me, that was the message 40 years ago. No, 42 years ago. In small, genuine, actual, equal communities that I had a little bit to do with. But it's all failed. Nobody actually fights, oh, I've got some stuff to put up. Nobody actually really fights for the environment or for egalitarianism or for anything like that. It's all failed, all of it. It's so enjoyable to actually accept fate accompli. It's also the best thing for mental health. Know where the goalposts are, and then figure on what, if anything, you may be able to say or do that's real. And Aldi and Lidl, being con artists, is a real thing. Not that anything much can be done about it.